live. Can you see us live there on your screen? Oh, and it's pointing the wrong way. Let me point the camera. There you are. Okay, Joe,
Not seeing anything just yet.
aren't you? Not
No,
live, but we probably are live and we're just on delay.
that's right. 15-second delay or something
15
crazy.
second delay. Are we here, everybody? Because we are coming to you live from the banks of the Yarra River. And as you can see, Joe is me for a second. Yes, we're live. Absolutely fantastic. Picture looks good. And everybody, please let us know how the sound is. We've had some minor technical issues getting to this point. I always try to set the bar high, don't I, Joe, by saying, let's go live from the side of a river when it's freezing cold, and let's set up the Z9 with the 50mm. Let's use the Axoon.
Yep.
And then at the last minute, that whole thing doesn't work, and we're coming to you live from my phone, which will hopefully work for long enough for this live stream. So welcome, everybody. Of course, we've got the ZF now in the wild. It's a camera that I'm very excited about, and the main reason is because it's XP'd 7 in a much more affordable package. It's here for kind of everybody who loves it. And looking at my comments from last night's video, which you should check out, a lot of people are very excited about the ZF. Joe, tell me your reactions across the day and so far in regards to the ZF. And just see, how's the sound, everybody? If you can let us know if the sound's okay.
Okay, we've got Kevin telling us I can hear you. Thanks,
Good.
Kevin.
Kevin, hearing us is a very good start.
Kevin's just sitting there.
Oh, thank you, Kevin.
Great. Okay, audio and video good so far. Thanks, Mookie. Great. And Craig Miller, thanks very much for telling us sound is good.
Good to have you here, Craig. Thank you very much. Yeah, Joe, your reactions to the ZF. And please, everybody, in the questions, any questions you've got about the ZF and my time with the ZF so far, just write a QQ at the front and we will answer what we can.
Yeah. Okay, so...
But we'll start with Joe.
Well, I tell you my reaction to begin with. I am extremely excited about this camera. Matt and I did a live stream, was it a live stream? No, it was just a news thing.
No, we did a live stream for the Z8, but you're talking about, the Z1.
The Z1.
No, yeah, we just did a non-live stream, but it was set up like this.
Yeah, we had a chat about a camera that was the same kind of idea as the ZF a couple of years ago, maybe 18 months ago.
Yeah, I reckon it was like April last year.
Yeah, so we talked about a camera that was low megapixel, very similar to a Z6, just a shooting camera, a photographer's camera. Now, of course, this goes well beyond that because of the XP'd 7, amazing autofocus, 4K video, the whole lot.
Ridiculous, like the IBIS. It's amazing. It's amazing.
But this is to me, I think, going to be Nikon's best-selling camera for a long time. I can't think of a camera which is full frame that has been this exciting at such a great price point ever, really.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because it kind of ticks a lot of boxes. It ticks the technology boxes, but then it ticks the retro boxes, and it also ticks the full frame boxes. Now, of course, there's a lot of people who are more into APS-C and the size of APS-C, and that's cool. That's not for them. They can get themselves a ZF-C if they want to go retro Nikon APS-C. It's so many C's, isn't it? So that's a great option, but today's about the ZF anyway, and it does tick a lot of boxes. Like now that we've got the higher quality 10-bit video, that's a box ticked. We've got XP'd 7. We've got the AI autofocus detection modes, aeroplane, we've everything, all of that stuff. And it's just fast. It feels like such a different experience to working with the Z6 or whatever. Got a question?
We've got some hellos first to begin with.
Hi.
So hello from Greece, from Tassos Papas. Tikanes Tassos.
Yes.
How was that? That was
Kalimera, is it the morning? I'm not sure if it's the morning. Let me think. 7 hours, I think, is the difference. So it might be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe, I think, in Greece.
Okay, so
not Kalimera.
First question.
Yasu.
First question is, did it overheat?
No, so I saw a video today, someone talking about it overheating, and it was 90 degrees Fahrenheit, they said, in New York when they were testing it. The thing we've always got to keep in mind is everybody that you've seen that's made a video so far has done it with a pre-production model. So it's hard to know where pre-production models are at. Is it final firmware and all that sort of stuff? But no, mine never overheated. But I didn't. It's the middle of winter here, so I think,
as you can see,
and we were always testing it at night because we wanted to be as invisible as possible. So the temperatures were like they are now, which is like 15 degrees C or lower, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's pretty cold.
Okay, so we've got a question from James Halliwell. G'day, James.
G'day, James.
Ordered today some great specs. Completely agree.
Great work.
Now this is
More importantly, what colour, James? I need to know.
Good question.
Yep.
This is a big question.
Yeah, big question.
How was the mechanical shutter sound?
Yeah, it sounds great. So I do a very small sample of it in my video I put out last night. It's fantastic. I think every camera manufacturer knows these days that if you're buying a premium camera, which it's a premium build, like there's metal plates on the top and on the bottom. All of the dials are actually brass, which is unbelievable. So that shutter sound, it's silky, it's good. You're going to be happy.
Okay, so next question we've got from Mookie MC. Nice name, Mookie. Are there any disadvantages to having one of the storage cards being a micro SD card?
Look, from my perspective, what is a not as good option is that you just got one SD card. Because here we've got real redundancy. And because micro SD is so small, my approach will be to just leave a micro SD in there permanently. Unless I need to pull it out because the SD failed, I'll just have one in there for its life.
Yeah.
And it's basically like internal storage. But what's even cooler is it's internal storage that if the internal storage fails, you can put in a new one. If you get a camera with actual internal storage, you'll have to send it back to the service center to get them to put new RAM in there. So I actually think, as much as it might on the surface appear as a kind of cheap workaround, it's actually really smart. And if we look at the brand new Sony cameras that came out, the two A7Cs, they've just got single SD slots. So if I had a choice between a single SD slot and a micro or not, definitely the way the ZF is done is giving us real redundancy.
Well, it's also keeping the camera size down as well.
Yeah.
But I use micro SD cards in my drones. Or in my drone, I've got a DJI Mini Pro 3, and you can get really large capacity micro SD cards as well. So even if you do want to pop them in and out, for such small cards, capacity is not an issue, and speed hasn't been an issue. And I record in 4K on that drone. So
Yeah. I mean, I use it for my what's that bright light up there? And we're outside. It's the moon. We can see the same moon. Go outside and look at the moon. We're looking at the same moon. That's a bit romantic, isn't it? No, I use micro SD in in the Insta360. I mean, there's a few things I use in my drone as well, and they've all been fine. It's just they're tiny. You kind of look at them and you can lose them or break them just by looking at them.
So James has come back to us.
James, colour?
Black.
Nice.
Black.
Stealth mode.
Jazz.
Jazz.
Is actually orange looks just too cool.
Yeah, orange that's where I'm leaning. Totally is the orange.
Yeah.
I think it's called Midnight Orange or something. They've all got cool names. I'll put all the cool names in the next video. It's just
I'm going blue.
Blue.
Yeah, blue.
Yeah, nice.
All right. So what else have we got?
Now I'll just flag, hopefully my phone goes the distance. We weren't planning on using the phone, but the battery was not as high as it could be, and we're putting the sound into the phone via the charging port. So what that means is we could be charging it, but we're not. So apologies if we suddenly go offline. Hopefully we get a little while out of this. Next question.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a couple of questions.
Okay, in lieu of other questions, Joe's got questions.
So ergonomically, is this an all-day pro tool when you compare it to, let's say, a Z8 or a Z9?
Sure. So as I said in my video, the small rig grip is something that can come with the camera, and it's... I think I heard a sea monster. So we're literally, the river is right here. I don't know if you can see it. We're right next to a river. And there was some sort of clunking noise.
It was my stomach.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. Well, you never know. Something might happen. Anyway, what was I saying? The grip, the ergonomics. Yes. So the small rig grip takes it from, and please hold. we have an FM, as you can see, everybody, there on the front of frame. I've got some other props that I thought I would bring for tonight that I forgot to put on the table.
Oh,
So it's the sort of levels, we could call this levels of grip. You know, have you got a grip? Yes, I have. And you start with sort of this sort of level, which is, you know, flat. And the ZFC, I think, was flat as well. And this has actually got a small rig grip on it.
So let's go this way. Yep.
That's
okay.
the order.
Worst?
No, not worst.
Oh, okay.
No, just retro. Just that is
less convenience.
No, just 1980, whatever it is.
1977.
There you go, 1980 minus 3. So basically, to answer the question more succinctly, if you know, you can totally use it, and people use these things for years, just like this. Or the small grip, which is a bit bigger than this, is fine. But if you want to have sort of a Z6 style experience, which is what that is, you go with the small rig grip, which happens to be probably a little bit bigger than this one because the camera is a little bit bigger. And look, it's totally fine. I mean, all day. What sort of all day do you mean? I mean, I don't know. I didn't have the opportunity to just have it in my hand like I've had a Z8 or a Z6 in my hand. We didn't have the opportunity to shoot all day because I wasn't doing any professional work as such.
Yeah.
We were running and gunning just to collect footage for that video. But it's totally good. It's totally fine. There's.
So more along those lines.
But sorry, I would if you're wanting to use it for extended periods. I think the small rig grip, which is very affordable, it's like $39, and in some regions it's being bundled on purchase, like here in Australia for the first month or so. It really makes it to me. It would make the difference from it being hard to use it all day, harder to no. It'll be totally not a problem to use it all day. That's the answer.
So does the...
You want to check if there's any more?
Oh, there's a couple more. And
Great.
actually, James, I hear what you're saying. James actually ordered the black camera so his wife wouldn't recognise it as a brand new camera. James, good work.
I hope she's not watching this stream.
Well done,
James.
Hi, Mrs. Hallowell.
Because I see what you've done there. So the ZFC and the ZF look so similar, which they do in black. That would be a good one.
I just hide cameras in camera bags. So, does the ZF have an intuitive hand placement like the Z5 all the way through to the Z9? Like, are there buttons and dials all in the same spots?
Yeah. So what Nikon do? Oh, so we've got a surprise delivery here, just for a moment.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Keep going.
I will keep going. Anybody like any pizza? You want to say hi to the world? I don't know.
Hello, you guys.
This man is so good. He brought us a pizza all the way over to the river.
There you go. Good man. Have a good one.
You're
Cheers.
amazing. Thank you. I said to Joe, we don't want to eat on camera, but here it is. Anyway, we'll see how we go.
That'll keep us warm.
What was the hand grip question?
Is it
Pizza.
intuitive as far as the control?
Yeah. So what I was going to say is the ZFC, like the ZF, has your usual front aperture and back shutter. So those dials exist to control shutter and aperture. And the only thing that's a little bit different is obviously ISO. If you want, I mean, you can use these dials
Yep.
for shutter, but you can use this as well.
Okay.
So both work. And then I was talking to Ray today, my dear friend Ray from Canada. How are you, Ray?
G'day,
If
Ray.
you happen to be here and awake. I don't know what time it is in Canada. Send us a message if you're there. I should text you, Ray. Then you'd know we're here. Anyway, Ray wanted to know whether you could change the ISO dial without using these. And he told me today that it's possible to map it to a switch and use the dial. So everything can be set up, I believe, to be more like your Z6 experience for ISO, shutter and aperture.
Great. So Craig Miller asks also another very poignant question.
Thank Craig. We love those.
Do rivers in Australia all have man-eating crocodiles?
Yes. If we are in the appropriate climate, there will be a crocodile and will eat a man.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have them in Melbourne, I suspect, because it's too cold. But if you go 3,000 or so, 2 to 3,000 kilometres north, which is that way,
Yep.
then we get into the tropical regions and subtropical regions. Crocodiles, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. And I will take photos of them with my ZF.
Mookie MC asks, is the image stabilization going to be a good selling point for vloggers and for using non-stabilized lenses?
Absolutely. So not only did Nikon tell us that it's not the 5.5 that we're used to, but it's 8 stops of in-body image stabilization. That's what I believe I've been told. So not coupled with a lens or whatever. That's what I believe. Now, if I have that wrong, my apologies, and we can double check that later. But I believe it's a full 8 stops. It's definitely a larger IBIS unit. And we actually used this lens here, which is Joe's. This is Joe's camera, and this is his beautiful, what is it, Joe? A 55?
55-1.2.
55-1.2. And a few of the shots in the video are from that lens, and I was shooting, handheld at some pretty low shutter speeds. So just like all of these, not that one, but the ZFC, because it doesn't have IBIS, but just like all of these, the IBIS absolutely assists with manual. Any lens you put on there will be assisted by IBIS. And I don't know if you don't know this, you can actually go into a menu that says non-CPU lenses, and you actually program in the focal length of the lens and the aperture of the lens.
Just going to check vision.
Joe.
It says it's frozen.
Oh.
Low power mode. 10% battery. All right.
Yeah, we're chewing through it. Great. We were 20% when we just started. I don't know how long we've been going for, but
I'm going to turn brightness down.
I'd turn the screen off. Yeah. Amazing. And when Joe had a great idea that he suggested you map the magnification
100%
to 100%, and then you literally just hit the record button while you're in stills, and you focus, and you can literally see pixel for pixel, and it's the most amazing way to use manual focus cameras. And I actually used the Nisi 14.5mm on a professional shoot on Monday, and I had a person way in the distance because it's such a wide lens, and I just used that method. Great, sharp as, fantastic.
Craig Miller's asking, g'day Craig, does the smaller grip on the ZF adequately support the 85mm 1.2?
Yeah, totally. And again, that was in the video, and it was really comfortable. Yeah, really comfortable.
By the way, thanks very much, Mini Plantscapes, for letting us know that the video had frozen.
Yes, thank you.
A message popped up on the iPhone.
Yes, telling us we're running out of battery. So
we've got 10% left.
Who knows when we're going to go? And let us know in the comments if we'll come back. We'll come back another day and talk more ZF if people are interested.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a couple of other questions.
Yeah,
so,
go.
What was your experience like with using the focus point on the screen at the back, using your thumb?
Yes. So I forgot, we knew about that, and I forgot to put it in the video, unfortunately. I'm so sorry about that. And it totally works. So I'm a left eye, so I think it made it easier because I was a left eye, because the screen, let me just remind myself, left eye, right eye. No, it would be easier if I was right eye. But yeah, no, you are totally, while you're shooting, moving the focus point around, and it's very fast and very smooth, and it's actually a really cool thing, and I hope it comes across to more of the range, and hopefully we can update Z8, Z9, Z6s, everything.
So in a conversation that we were having earlier today, we were talking about how clean the images were from the ZF.
Yes.
And we also agreed that this may well be...
Hey, that was sneaky. I didn't see you get that out.
Yeah, you
wow.
were talking.
Yeah. He's hungry.
We're also talking about that this camera may have the cleanest and best low light performance out of any camera at this megapixel range.
Sure. Yeah, not any camera.
Not any camera.
No.
There's some
I mean, who knows? Yeah. I haven't tried every camera.
Yeah. That Nikon's ever released, at least anyway.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I was reading today because when I was reviewing the ZF, I didn't have access to all the literature and information. That because of the XP7, the the ZF is able to process noise out of files better than the slower cameras. So because it's that 10 times faster than 2x speed 6s, it's able to do more work, obviously, on the fly. They talk about that specifically in flat areas. It's removing noise. Excuse me, coughing down the mic. But yeah, very clean. And if you look at my video, a lot of those shots are shot at 1600 and 3200 ISO, and they look really clean. And the amazing thing is, I was out at night with the 70 to 200. People might not have caught this detail. With the 70 to 200, with the 1.4 teleconverter on it, and I'm shooting stills and I'm shooting video at night. Pretty ridiculous. And 3200, 1600 and 3200 looked pretty clean. Yeah, so it's an impressive sensor along with whatever processing might be going on the fly, which of course that amazing sensor can do. Processor can do.
What was your impression of the weather sealing on the camera?
Yeah, good question. Nothing jumped out, but I look at a camera like this and nothing specifically jumps out. I mean, there were the normal gaskets on the sides and so on. Again, on the website, it states dust and drip resistance. And then there's an asterisk that says, but does not work in all circumstances. So, you know, I've owned Nikon cameras for 3 decades. I don't think I've ever had one that's failed due to dust or moisture. So it's something that I don't worry about too much. But it does have it. It is stated in the spec.
So this is more related to the style of the camera. You, through the years, you've always told me that you've always wanted a DF because
Yes.
it's a full-frame, retro-looking Nikon.
Yes.
Has this, you know, gotten rid of that want, and now you're just saying, look, the ZF is the replacement desire?
Oh, totally. I mean, I'm a bit of a collector, but yeah, I mean, I still really like the DF. I think the DF is a beautiful, and I almost bought one in the day. The problem was, and I think it was based on the D4, is that it was a D4, but it had no video spec. Now, some people love that idea. Personally, for me, I didn't want to spend a little bit more for getting a little bit less, which is what basically happened with the DF. I think Nikon learned from that, and the ZF is not about spending more to get a bit less. It seems to be reasonably priced, and they have put so much into that machine. Like, you know, we've got lots of what the Z8 and the Z9 have, along with pixel shift, which is a brand new thing. That's exciting, along with this new IBIS unit. And someone like me who's a professional photographer, you don't always want to take your Z8 or your Z9 out with you when you're going to a party or when you're going to an event or when you're out with your family. And I have shot a bit with the ZFC, but for me it's quite small and I prefer full frame. So it really fits in a nice spot for me.
Some of what you spoke about covers this next question. Thank you to Sunrise 2076 for asking, is this a good upgrade in all aspects from the Z6?
Oh, definitely from the Z6. I mean, Joe and I both own Z6s. Yep. We love our Z6s.
Love
they
the Z6.
They are really solid cameras, and both of us have owned them since the start. So they're 5 years old now. And there's been a lot of firmware updates, which I think those firmware updates kind of brought them to where Nikon always envisaged them to be. They just had to get the cameras out so fast that they couldn't get everything done. That's what I think. But X-Speed 7, it's just the user, the ergonomic, just the way it vibes is just completely different. Even so it's a 24 megapixel sensor, it doesn't matter. It's completely different. The IBIS unit from a Z6 to a Z8 and Z9 was clearly superior, and they're telling us that this is superior to those, I believe. So amazing for that. If you need or want a flip out screen, you're getting one. Amazing.
Also, autofocus is out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, you've now got a completely different approach to, you know, animal detect and plane detect and train detect and bike detect and all those sort of layers.
But there's also small things that make it a really good tool as a second camera when filming as well. The fact that you can synchronize time codes through the BlueSync
Yep.
is something that
Yeah.
that's really great. So
Yeah, auto capture is something that some people are excited about. I mean, it's just by going to XPEED 7, it just ups the game. It's been the same for all camera manufacturers. You do a major upgrade in your processor, and then you can do a whole lot more things. And as we've talked about with the Z8 and the Z9, the XPEED 7 architecture seems to be quite a lot more flexible because they've got a lot more power. They can do a lot more things. And so it'll just be interesting to see what they keep adding. I mean, the fact that we've got pixel shift, like that's new, and the fact that we've got the screen also being able to have a touch input, that's new. Now, is that because there's more processing power? And it may well be because they've got to run more inputs. They've got the cameras thinking about more things to make all that sort of stuff happen. So, yeah, it's what we call a generational shift, and there's a lot of upgrades that come with it.
Yeah,
But
it's a big step.
but at the end of the day, all of these devices still take, all of them, even the film one, they all still take amazing photographs. It's not going to make you a better photographer unless you're pushing into some of these areas. Like I like to push into the IBIS and shoot as low light and as handheld as possible. So if you're going to use the features, it's helpful. If you're not going to use any of them, then you don't need it.
Well, we've actually got a video about this particular subject, older cameras and everything like that, coming up very soon on the channel.
That's true.
Yep.
Very true.
So another question is, thanks Mookie MC again, does the camera IBIS rattle when the camera is off, or is it locked down?
Well, somebody wrote to me that they read or that it's not locked down, but look, I didn't notice it. I've noticed some lenses, the VR or OSS or whatever, doesn't lock down, and there's a little bit of a noise. Look, my belief is that these companies make these choices full well knowing that we're going to throw it in our bag and, live life, and they wouldn't do it if it was going to be a problem for, an audio problem, or it's going to be hard on the system or whatever. So I didn't observe it. I didn't notice it. I can't imagine it's a problem.
We've got some feedback. Ricky said it's not locked down.
Yep.
I didn't
Yeah.
notice anything. So, okay, next question, which is a great question. So this is
great questions.
Starting to move into the professional space for the use of the camera.
And my apologies if the phone suddenly goes flat, everybody. we will come back to this.
Yep.
We will come back to this.
So Ade Mola, I apologise for butchering the name, but Ade says, can I use this camera for weddings?
100%.
And Ade also adds that she currently uses a Z6. So this is
Yeah.
a massive step.
I mean, for example, focus will be far more robust, I would say, in the ZF. Far more, it'll focus in lower light, and it will give you eye detect and so on quicker and more efficiently. And so the only question might be an ergonomic question. That would be the only question I would have. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that's the only question you need to ask yourself. Otherwise, technology-wise, it's a big step, and it's going to be amazing for you.
How heavy does the camera feel compared to the Z8? And how does
Well, it's lighter. It's lighter
lighter.
than a Z8.
Okay.
Yeah. It's 710 grams versus 910 grams, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Z8's on another level. Although it's for wedding, no. And I think it's an amazing wedding camera. I really do. I just think it's really good. And what I mean by ergonomics is if you're used to a Z6, just go into a store and play with it and see if you're comfortable moving from the Z6 to the ZF. It's not very different, but it's slightly different. Because it's based on this thing. So it has to be a bit different.
What about using it as a video camera at weddings as well? Would you?
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, as a video camera, you might, whenever I see videographers at weddings, they're pretty much usually on some sort of gimbal or tripod or monopod, and thus a device like this is even easier to use as a video camera than it is as a still scan. I mean, all of them, because you kind of, as a video operator, you're holding them less.
Yep.
And you're just sort of, you might just be using the boom, and you're not actually holding this bit, but you're holding some sort of boom arm and playing with the lens. So Yeah, no problem. I mean, amazing as a video camera because you've got your 10-bit, you've got your log. It now has the 125-minute run times, so
Okay, so just going through, yeah, Ricky said it's not locked, but some